Unboxing this red light cap from Aliexpress from China. I will also shortly discuss my minoxidil use and also try to fit this into my other two caps which I already have, which are kind of normal black caps. I got this mostly because of one guy, and this one guy is called Brian Johnson, and he's kind of experimenting with rejuvenation, and within this rejuvenation he also experiments with hair growth. So basically trying to regrow the hair he already has lost. So what this cap then actually is just a cap that has LEDs in it which emit rather red light, and this is supposed to further the hair growth. There seem to be some studies behind this, but I figured it would not be on me to discuss these studies, so I would just unbox this thing, because, well, I would have to pull them up and so on and so forth, and if I did this, then I would also have to cite the right studies and so on and so forth. So it comes in a black box, and also the cap looks already quite similar to the ones I have, but unfortunately I already realized that this might not be the cap I really want, because it has this thing here on the side. So ideally a cap would be completely black in my view, so this might already be a downside. But the upside of this system here is that you don't need this cap to work the system. So it is not attached to the cap, so there are some other devices which I also looked at which happen to have kind of a bigger radius of targeting basically your scalp, but this here is only this thing here. So this thing here is including the battery and also the red light itself. Then you can apparently turn it on with this button here, but right now it does not seem to work. So somewhere here is probably the charger. So we have the charging port, not the charger, but the charging port. It charges, surprisingly, with USB-C and not USB, maybe you can see even, and not USB micro, which is fortunate because the future of USB-C might be on the way. And we also get an instruction manual. This instruction manual is in English. It's called LED hair conditioner. Product introduction. Voltage input is 5 volts and 500 milliamps. Charging port type C. LED power is 25 milliwatts. PCS, I don't know what PCS is. The material is PU fabric. LED quantity is 48 pieces and the size doesn't really matter. Then press and hold the on and off button for more than 2 seconds to turn it on or off. We already tried this, but it didn't work, so it probably needs charging first. Oh, it did actually already work. So just pressing it for 2 seconds already turns it on. And this is what it looks like. So there are apparently 48 LEDs on there, and these LEDs then basically go on your scalp. Now the problem is obviously that here there's also scalp, which is then not covered by this LED, but the ones that would have basically covered the whole area, also there were some caps available, they basically would have cost a multiple of this here. This only cost 30 euros or 29 euros, and I got it delivered from China. So this inlay here can probably also be inlaid into something else, and this something else is one of my caps I would already wear. So it would not be such a big deviation from the things I already wear. So usually right now I am also for enhancing visual focus, or the visual focus kind of goes along with mental focus, and so I'm trying to shrink my visual focus with caps often, and this is the cap I'm already wearing for this purpose. Sometimes I'm also wearing these during the making of videos, and this is what it looks like if I put it into this here. So we can fit this somewhat in here in the front, because there is already this kind of thing here which you can fit it in, and this is then covered. And probably the reasoning why this is shaped this way is here on the sides is because many people, the typical hair loss pattern is here on the sides, which you can already kind of see with me, and then already here on the top I'm also kind of quietly losing hair, a little bit at least. And it is now, I think, fairly visible for a very long time. I did not know if this is real, if I'm actually losing hair, but if I compare myself to all the pictures, then it seems to be apparent that I'm at least somewhat losing density in my hair already. Now, the state of my hair here is not a kind of original state it would be in at my certain age. I seem to have a genetic predisposition for losing hair in the male pattern baldness pattern. You could also call it androgenic alopecia. There is also a few other types of alopecia which I will not discuss here. This is what I already tried. It's called Regain. In the US it's called Rogaine. It's the same company, just different branding name. And this is supposed to alter the two phases of the hair growth. So not of the hair growth, but there is a phase in which the hair grows and there is a phase in which the hair doesn't grow. And this seems to alter the phases of the hair growth in a way that it shortens the phase in which the hair grows and therefore overall basically grows more hair. It's basically, as it was described, kind of as a fertilizer for your hair. And it seems to kind of work. So if I take this after a few weeks and months, because the hair actually also needs to grow, the density of my hair, especially here in the front visibly, seems to go up. And if I don't take it, then maybe it's just kind of a observational effect that I observe myself then more if I don't rub this into my hair twice a day. And also if I use less, because this comes in a 3-month kind of subscription, and not really subscription, but it comes in a 3-month package and it costs about 60 euros. So this means this adds 20 euros of subscription. This is what you might pay for some more expensive insurance, for example. So this cap here, then I don't know how long it should be applied. I think Brian Johnson, the guy that actually I saw this from, I think he has a very similar thing here, but what he did not have is this thing here independently, I think he has a cord that goes then somewhere into a battery pack. Now, for ease of use and also because this was just the cheapest one, and I obviously don't know if this will work, I have tried though other kinds of red light therapy in the last months. So I would say I did have a little bit of a success with it. So my skin on multiple sides of my body seems to already begin to wrinkle. So this here, you cannot see it properly right now, but here for example, the folds are beginning to become permanent and my skin begins to look older and older. And this happened only in like a few months and maybe the last 2 or 3 years. So what I've been trying already is to go to the gym, and what I've discovered is that there is a solar bank, and this solar bank is also having a red light only mode. And so I've tried this, and I've also additionally tried something else called microneedling. So this is basically a pen, and this pen vibrates, and as it vibrates, it basically brings microneedles that are in the front of this pen a few millimeters to the front and then to the back again. In this case actually 2 millimeters. So this goes from 0 to 2 millimeters, and this is the supposed depth I think Andrew Huberman recommended in his podcast in his podcast episode on microneedling and also on hair growth. Not necessarily on microneedling, but just on hair growth. So the combination of these 3 things ideally would help me contain at least my hair, or keep at least my hair. I don't know if contain is the right word. So back to the microneedling pen. This has 5 levels. You turn it on, and then this was I think 25, 30, 40, maybe even 50 euros also from Aliexpress. I'm not entirely sure. I got this entirely in black, and it also has these capsules which deattach. So what you can use this for is then you can basically microneedle your scalp. So there are a few different theories on why hair begins to fall out. One of these theories, and it's just a theory, not really a theory, much more a hypothesis, is that the areas in which the hair falls out are under probably more stress. So by massaging the scalp and possibly also by other methods that kind of relax the scalp, you could then basically reduce the hair falling out, or the hair miniaturization that is kind of the cause for the hair loss. Not really the cause, but the symptom of the hair loss. You could kind of reduce this. And one of these things that can reduce possibly this is microneedling. So you kind of microneedle the scalp. I'm currently doing this, I don't know, maybe once a week. And so you basically take this, it hurts very minimally. So you basically, so if you have the 2 millimeters, it hurts a little bit, but it's like scraping your skin with something that is a little bit harder. And then you take it and you just bring it totally through the hair. But this microneedling pen also often goes out So, and then I just go through the hair, similar to how I saw this applied in the video of Brian Johnson. Now, in addition, I apply, at least in theory, twice a day this year, but since I currently shower more often because it's summer and I'm sweating all the time, it doesn't make sense to rub this in, because then I'm basically losing the effect. Ideally, you would rub it in twice a day, and it would stay constantly in your hair. But if I'm constantly showering, I would need more of this, so I'm not using this as much. Which also seems to again have caused basically this area to thin. I don't know if the effect can be this instantaneous, but probably it's more latent, and probably it's much more an observational effect. Now, back to this cap then. This would be the third piece in preventing my hair loss. I'm not taking any supplements specifically for my hair loss, even though there are a few. But I figured mostly, so I wanted to tell actually something else about the microneedling pen. So with the microneedling pen, I did have a little bit of a success, because I figured if this is inducing a kind of regeneration response in the skin, I might also use this on some kind of birthmarks. So I do have a few birthmarks here and there, and what I've tried is microneedling this. So I go like 10 times on basically back and forth. And then in combination with the red light therapy, and I also cannot isolate the effect because I'm doing both at the same time and not independently. And also there could be other factors, other variables that basically cause this effect to happen. I was able to somewhat lighten a few of my birthmarks. So I have a birthmark here, I have also multiple other ones. And there's one of my chest that is already beginning to look lighter. So these birthmarks have been staying with me for like 15, 20 years. I don't know when they begin to appear, probably from birth already, and they just maybe grew with me, with the skin, and so on and so forth. So what I'm thinking is that, so first of all, I'm kind of trying to get rid of my birthmarks with the microneedling pen, but also with the red light therapy, which I'm currently doing 3 times 3 minutes in the gym every time I work out there. I do work out more in the gym, usually 4 times a week, but I'm only going there 3 times for a specific kind of workouts, also into the red light. So the red light is, as I mentioned, a solar bank that is kind of fully covering your body, which is fairly nice, because all of the other biohackers, not that I am a biohacker, I would not think of myself as one. They often have these panels and they stand in between these panels, and of course it doesn't cover. So a solar bank is basically the thing that it's already invented. It just has often the wrong bulbs in it because of UV radiation and so on. It is probably not very healthy in the long term to use a solar bank to darken your skin, but with just the red light, and it also doesn't darken my skin, obviously, because it is just a red light. So now it just went off. I don't know if it goes off after a certain time frame or period. But this is what we could look up on here. So precaution. After use, it should be stored in a ventilated and dry place. 2. Do not put heavy pressure on the product, otherwise it will be damaged. Do not use too much force when unplugging the USB-C port, otherwise it will break and fall off. 4. To clean the product, turn off the power, wipe it with a damp cloth, and dry it with a towel and ventilate it. Do not soak or rinse in water. Do not use strong detergents for cleaning. Okay. There seem to be different usage modes, which can be selected with M. We already saw this M here on the side, and this apparently changes the usage mode. So mode 1 is red light. It is on for 10 minutes, and this is probably what we just used. So we press it and then it is on for 10 minutes. Then, and this is, so the effects are hair control, hair care, hair regrowth. Then mode 2 is blue red light, is on for 10 minutes, effects oil control, hair care, hair regrowth. I haven't heard about the blue light yet, but if we press it once, it is blue. So it is switching apparently between blue and red light. So I don't know if this is then better. I haven't heard about the switching apart from this manual here. Then we have mode 3, which is blue light constantly on for 10 minutes. And then we have mode 4, red light blinks for 10 minutes. Efficiency is hair density, hair regrowth. Or efficacy, not efficiency. And mode 3, I lost the efficacy effects, or the efficacy, hair care and hair nourishment. So it is always kind of a variation of hair regrowth, density, nourishment. So what I'm trying is probably the 10 minutes, and if the length here is 10 minutes, then 10 minutes is probably a reasonable protocol, as Andrew Huberman would say. So the blinking, I don't know what the blinking then would do additionally. I also haven't read the studies, maybe I will dive into the studies, but I wanted to do this unboxing first because I can only unbox something once with kind of the initial authentic impression I would have when unboxing this. So I probably will use this in one of my caps I wear around, basically sometimes the office and sometimes when training. I could also walk around in the gym with this. So let's actually try to put it on. One problem here is that it obviously takes a little bit of room. And since this cap with my kind of bulky hair at this point in time is already on the smaller side for my head, so it doesn't fit all around. I mean, I can wear it, but it's fairly loose. And with this thing in here is also fairly loose. I also am obviously kind of wondering if I have a hair mat on my head that is this thick, whether this actually reaches my hair follicles at all. Probably not so much. So ideally you probably would have either not so dense hair or not so thick hair. So the second alternative I would have is this cap, which is a little bit more covering, so it goes more around the radius of the sphere that is my head. And so if I then insert this here, then ideally it would cover my head. So this is what it looks like, and now let's try to put it on. Maybe I just should shorten my hair again. I also thought about possibly cutting it way shorter than it actually is, even though I kind of prefer this kind of hairstyle. Because then, if the hair is shorter, it is obviously not in the way of potentially treating it with anything. So microneedling would be easier. If I rub this in, the volume I apply to the hair would actually meet more of the follicles and not just be dispersed in my hair. And also, if I have something like red light, obviously I'm also kind of using red light already on my hair when I'm 3 times in the red light bank at the gym, but this would then additionally give me kind of the benefit of at least having specifically targeted towards my hair, even though I really doubt. Let's actually kind of see here. Can we see on the side? I mean, it is shining onto my hair, but I don't think there is that much that is actually coming onto my hair from the light. So potentially cutting my hair short into a buzz cut would probably drastically increase the efficacy or also the efficiency of these 3 different methods I'm trying to regrow my hair, or at least contain my hair. Now, if I already record an almost 20-minute video, it probably will be 20 minutes on this cap here, then it probably makes also sense to try the cap that is actually in here. So the cap that is actually in here, of course, looks a little bit weird. What I could do is I could mark this somehow, and then it would be a kind of a normal cap. There are also already threads that are signaling probably not the highest quality. And if we put this in here, then it seems that this cap actually has a little bit more room compared to the other ones, because it is probably designed to have a little bit more room, or a little bit more headspace. A little bit more headspace is probably what many people these days would want. So let's try this here. So it also goes in just like the other ones, but it does feel already a little bit bigger. So it might just be the cap that is actually designed for this. It still is a little bit loose compared to the other ones, it's tighter, so it has kind of the same fit now as this would have without the red light thing in it. And obviously it does not look too bad. You can see a little bit of the red light apparently through it. So I just saw it. Yeah, here you can see it. And that's kind of the unboxing of the red light cap. I will also try to charge it. Maybe we should try to plug the charger in. So as already mentioned, on the side here we have this charger or charging port, and it charges with USB-C. The cable is also already in the box. So overall, I would say I'm kind of surprised that this product seems to be nice. I also can use it in the other caps I have, and then we have to insert this into the side here, and it is now plugged in, and now I can charge the device. I can try to